The morning mist hung low over downtown Seattle, wrapping around the tall buildings like a soft grey blanket. Sarah Mitchell sat on the cold concrete steps of the public library, watching the world rush past her in a blur of expensive suits and hurried footsteps. Her worn canvas bag rested beside her, containing everything she owned in the world. 3 months ago, she had been a respected teacher at Lincoln Elementary. Now, she was invisible. The eviction notice had come on a Tuesday. Medical bills from her mother's final months had drained every penny she had saved. The small apartment she could no longer afford became a memory, and the school district had let her go when she missed too many days caring for her dying mother. One tragedy had led to another, like dominoes falling in slow motion. Sarah pulled her thin jacket tighter around her shoulders as the October wind picked up. She had been sitting on these same steps for 5 days now, holding a small cardboard sign that simply read, "Lost my job, lost my home, anything helps, God bless." The words felt heavy each time she held them up, but hunger was heavier. Hundreds of people passed by every hour. Business executives in their tailored coats, college students with their expensive coffee, families heading to weekend activities. They all had somewhere to go, someone waiting for them, a warm place to sleep. Sarah watched their faces as they approached. Some would look right through her as if she were made of air. Others would quickly turn their heads away, suddenly fascinated by their phone screens or the buildings across the street. A few people had stopped. An elderly woman named Dorothy had given her a $10 bill and a kind smile on Wednesday. A young man had shared his sandwich yesterday. But mostly, Sarah felt like a ghost, haunting the steps of a building where she once spent countless hours reading and dreaming. The afternoon sun was beginning to set when she noticed him approaching. He was different from the usual crowd. His clothes were expensive but not flashy, a well-tailored navy coat, leather shoes that had been carefully maintained, and a confidence in his walk that spoke of success. What made him truly different, though, was the baby carrier strapped to his chest. Inside the carrier, a tiny face peeked out from beneath a soft blue hat. The baby couldn't have been more than 6 months old, with bright, curious eyes that seemed to take in everything around them. The man was talking softly to the child as they walked, pointing out things in the cityscape. Sarah lowered her sign, expecting them to pass by like everyone else. She had learned not to make eye contact. It made people uncomfortable, and uncomfortable people walked faster. But then, something unexpected happened. The man stopped. He stood there for a moment, looking down at her with kind brown eyes. The baby in the carrier made a soft cooing sound, and the man instinctively rocked slightly from side to side. "Excuse me," he said, his voice gentle and warm. "I'm James Parker. This little guy is my son, Michael." Sarah looked up, surprised. No one had introduced themselves to her in months. "I'm Sarah," she said quietly. James shifted the diaper bag on his shoulder and looked around at the busy street. "You know, I've been walking past here every day for 2 weeks now. My office is just around the corner." He paused, studying her face. "I lost my wife 6 months ago. Car accident. She was coming home from the hospital after Michael was born." Sarah felt her heart skip. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "The thing is," James continued, "I've been so wrapped up in my own grief, in figuring out how to be a single father, that I almost didn't see you. But today, something Michael did made me stop." The baby gurgled and reached out a tiny hand towards Sarah. Without thinking, she extended her finger, and Michael wrapped his small fingers around it with surprising strength. "He's never done that with a stranger before," James said softly. "My wife, Elena, she used to say that babies can sense things about people that adults miss. She said they can see hearts." Tears began to form in Sarah's eyes. "Your wife sounds like she was a wise woman." "She was a teacher," James said, "just like you." Sarah's head snapped up. "How did you—" "I asked around. The security guard here knows you." Says you used to come in every week to check out books for your classroom. He told me what happened, about your mother, about losing your job. For the first time in months, Sarah felt truly seen. Not pitied, not judged, but seen. James reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a business card. I own a small chain of learning centers for children. We focus on kids who need extra help, kids who don't fit into traditional classrooms. He handed her the card. We just opened a new location downtown. I need someone who understands that teaching isn't just about books and tests. It's about seeing each child as a whole person. Sarah stared at the card through her tears. I don't understand. I'm offering you a job, Sarah. The pay is good, and there's a small apartment above the center that comes with the position. It's not much, but it's warm and safe. But you don't even know me, Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. James smiled, and for the first time, Sarah could see past his grief to the kind man underneath. Elena always said that when someone falls down, you don't ask them why they're on the ground. You help them stand up. He looked down at his son, who was still holding Sarah's finger. Besides, Michael seems to have made his decision about you. The baby had fallen asleep, still clutching Sarah's finger, a peaceful expression on his tiny face. There's just one condition, James added with a gentle smile. The center stays open until 6, but sometimes I need to work late. Would you be willing to help with Michael occasionally? He seems to like you, and I could use someone I trust. Sarah couldn't speak. The words she wanted to say were trapped behind years of loneliness and months of despair that were finally beginning to lift. Why? She finally managed to ask. James looked out at the busy street, where people continued to rush past without stopping. Because 3 months ago I was sitting in my car outside the hospital where Elena died, and I felt more alone than I ever had in my life. A stranger stopped and sat with me. Didn't say much, just sat there until I was ready to go. Home. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change everything. He gently freed Michael's fingers from Sarah's hand and adjusted the baby carrier. The center opens Monday morning at 8. There's a coffee shop next door that makes excellent pancakes. If you're interested, meet me there at 7:30 and we can talk about the details. As James walked away, Sarah watched until he disappeared around the corner. She looked down at the business card in her hands. Parker Learning Centers where every child matters. For the first time in months, Sarah felt something she had almost forgotten existed. Hope. She stood up slowly, folded her cardboard sign, and placed it in a nearby trash can. Monday morning suddenly felt like the beginning of everything, instead of the continuation of nothing. The evening mist was beginning to form again, but Sarah no longer felt cold. Sometimes she realized when everyone ignores you, it only takes one person to see you to change your entire world. And sometimes that one person comes with a baby who can see hearts.